Oh, they think
And
they're morally superior, so that their means are justified by their exalted ends.
yeah.
They always believe that. But you got to remember, they say, well, Trump only won by 1.5%. No, that's not the way to look at it. Trump won the House, the Senate, the White House. He has control more or less of the Supreme Court. He won the popular vote. He won the Electoral College. Despite 93 indictments by Bragg, by Fannie Willis, by Letitia James, by Jack Smith, after they raided his home to get 102 files out of 13,000 that were actually classified.
Mm-hmm.
That's after they tried to take him off the ballot in 25 states. And that's why he did not have the media, he did not have the foundations, he did not have the universities, he didn't have the popular culture, he didn't have the administrative state. I don't know how he won, but he did.
Victor Davis Hanson just flipped the script. Trump didn't survive the system. He exposed it. 93 indictments, media blackout, deep state sabotage. And still, he won everything. House, Senate, White House, and the people. It was a political exorcism. While Biden borrowed $7 trillion and posed as a wax figure for globalist dreams, Trump fought the machine, and America noticed. The universities, the tech oligarchs, the cultural priesthood, all turned over like rocks, crawling with corruption. And now, Apple's next. Hanson reveals how Tim Cook handed China America's tech future for profit, and why Trump won't let it slide. This isn't about phones, it's about sovereignty. Harvard sold itself to foreign regimes. Big tech is doing the same. Trump's war isn't personal, it's structural, and the reckoning is just beginning.
And he won because, actually, I do. He was on the right side of a series of issues, and people were sick of all this stuff. And they said to themselves, we have no border. He borrowed $7 trillion, Biden did. It was a hoax. He was just an empty waxen effigy they used to put through this agenda. And they didn't want a McCain or Romney saying, well, let's not be hasty. This is a judicious, complex matter. We have to be sober in our criticism. They like somebody that said, these guys are scum. They're going to destroy the country. Up to a point. I don't know where that point is reached, but you might want to tone it down. But they like the idea that he didn't give up. He's a little different than Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg because his market capitalization of $2 trillion is almost 50 or 60% attributable to his China division. He's got a deal with China that they allow him to supply unlimited amounts of his products in China. At least they do until they have completely absorbed his company. You know, they're kind of like the blob. So he's over there making trillions of dollars or hundreds of billions, and he's partnering with the Chinese, and they get his technology, but they let him make some phones. But when they find out they don't need him anymore, and that's a hard question for them because they don't know to what degree they have the talent yet to be creative and have the next generation rather than just steal it.
Yeah.
But he has basically his attitude about Apple is, of all the tech companies, I'm going to partner with the Chinese Communist government. They're going to give me enormous concessions, and they have a market of 1.4 billion people, and I'm going to have that market. And in exchange for that, I'm going to give them access to technology that they otherwise wouldn't have had. That's why they want it. And Trump is saying to him, and Trump's trying to get along with him, he's saying to him, how much more would a phone cost if you just assemble it here? $100? And he's saying, why are you empowering the China? Nobody's done more to empower China than he has, Apple. And I don't think that's something that he wants to get into, because I'll give you the example. Until Harvard locked horns with Donald Trump, Harvard was this and Harvard was that. But as I said before, Harvard is like a rock on a hill, and when you turn it over, there's worms, there's slugs, it's ugly. And when Trump got in it with Harvard, I know he was a little excessive, but when he turned over that rock, oh my gosh, millions of dollars from gutter, billions of dollars from gutter and communist China funding your program. Oh my gosh, you're charging the federal government 55% surcharges on federal grants. Oh my gosh, you ignored the Supreme Court ruling of 2022. You're still using racial prejudice and bias not to let white males into, or Asians into your university. Oh my gosh, you're still rewarding people who beat up Jews. You haven't addressed anti-Semitism. Well, the same thing will be like with Apple. If he wants to get in a big fight with Trump, they're going to say, wow, you paid this much to the Chinese government? Wow, Chinese tech went up this much? Wow, this percent of Chinese communications technology depended on you? Because it's not indefensible what he's doing in terms of America.
Yeah. So if you
were like during the Cold War, you remember Occidental Petroleum had partnered with Communist Russia, and they gave them the pencil monopoly to make all the pencils.
Yeah.
And Arm & Hammer was and everybody criticized him, for his Soviet, but he was the only one really who did that. Well, pencils aren't telephones. What I'm getting at is that it's not a good thing to be responsible for fueling the economy and the applicable military technology of someone that wants to destroy the United States. And if he wants to get in a fight with Trump, that will come out, and people will not want. I have never bought a computer except an Apple computer, Mac. I've never bought a phone except a Mac. I have a Mac watch on.
Yeah.
If it gets into it, I would just give it all up and go non-Apple.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not Steve Jobs. They had a plant in the United States that was making stuff, and they were making a lot of money. They just weren't multi-trillion-dollar global company, and they sold it off.
If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest content.